Hello everybody, hope you can hear me. We're going to do a little Z-Health R-phase mobility to keep our central nervous system tuned up during this time of existential challenge. All right, we're going to start off with the range of motion assessment. Doesn't matter what you do. For the sake of those with back problems, we're just going to do a little side to side. Remember, your eyes follow your thumbs. Your eyes don't stay the center. I'm going to start off with ankle tilts, head nice and tall, focal vision straight ahead. And just because we're not sure who's watching this, we start with our foot straight ahead. Then we're going to bring our foot out at a 45-degree angle, and we're going to do it again. Remember, when you're doing any type of neural hack, less is always more. The goal is to eliminate threat, not to create threat. Other side, ankle tilts. Having your foot straight ahead works for about 80% of the population. Turning it to the outside works for the other 20%. Shake it off, reassess, make sure we're responding as we should. Okay, seems to work. I'm going to tighten on the left side. We'll fix that later. Now we're going to start. The next thing we're going to do is toe pulls. Before we do that, we're going to loosen up our ankles a little bit. So toes down, foot down, toes up, foot up. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Other side. Toes down, foot down, toes up, foot up. So we're doing a foot wave with the purpose of loosening up the ankles so that when we do our toe pull, our foot's a little stiff. This will make it a little easier. Next thing we're going to do is just some simple wrist waves, again to loosen up our ankle. If we haven't done these in a while, it doesn't hurt. Pretend there's a glass wall in front, keeping your fingers down and then changing. Fingers down and change. What makes this drill or hack work is that little click that occurs at the top and the bottom of the movement. So we're just going to go up and down, shake it off, laying our foot flat on the ground, bending the opposite knee, just making our foot longer. And do the same thing into the side. Good, shake it off. All right, now we're going to take and bring our toes down and in, little ankle circles, and the other direction. These are actually toe circles, and the purpose is we just want to loosen up our ankle a little bit. So when we do the toe pulls, they're going to be easier. Toes are pointed down and in, and the other direction. Okay, now lay your foot flat on the ground, just like a little toe pull. We're going to drop the heel to the outside and just bounce a little bit and switch to the other side. Middle toe pull, drop the heel to the outside, bounce a little bit, shake it off, reassess. Good. That's from my left side knee. Perfect. All right. Now, inside toe pull works for some, but it's very difficult on a big toe. So instead of doing an inside toe pull, we're just going to do a drill with circles. So I want you to push your toes down and out as far as they can go and make a little circle. We're targeting the same joint that we would open with an inside toe pull without stressing the toe. Some of the clients that we work with here at Fairfield Strength have some foot issues and some big toe issues. So this is a way of hitting that joint and hitting the neural connections that activate the psoas muscle without stressing either the big toe or the foot. Shake it off. And again, we'll just check our range of motion. Good. Okay, nice. All right, next thing we're going to do is an ankle circle. To start off, we want to just pattern that. So we're going to make a circle with our heel. So the heel is turning the ankle in the other direction. Good. Shake it off. Now we're going to do the same thing in the air. We just patterned that heel circle. It's not a toe circle like we were doing for the first two drills. This is truly an ankle circle that we're making using our heel as the prime move in the other direction. It's really an awkward movement the first few times you do it. It took me about 6 months to learn. But once you learn it, it works. Do the same thing with the other foot. And the other direction. Good. Shake it off. Now, a lot of the athletes who train here have knee issues, so we're going to add some soft tissue work. I want you to come across the top of the knee, and inside you've got a bundle of nerves, a little nerve plexus right here. When you touch it, you'll feel it's a little tender. Put the heel of your hand there, rub that up, and then rub the whole knee. And then rub your thigh and your hip flexor. Shake it off. Come on the other side, come right across the top of the kneecap. Feel inside, there's a little divot. We're going to put the heel of our hand there. Open it up. And we're going to do the knee. We're going to do the thigh. Shake it off. Now, this elbow is connected to this knee, so if I'm working on the knee, I'm going to open up that knee a little bit by doing some elbow circles. And the other side. Good, shake it off. This elbow is connected to this knee. Do some elbow circles. And the other direction. Shake it off. Good. Now we're going to do what's known as a hanging knee circle. The idea is let the lower leg dangle and then spin the lower leg using the hip as the mover, with the goal being create some space inside the knee joint itself so that the synovial fluid can move around and lubricate that joint. Shake it off. Perfect world. I support, for balance, the hand that's on the same side, and that allows contralateral neural stim to occur. In this case, we're just going to do the other one using the same side for balance. And the hip is actually generating that spin. And we're going to go both directions and shake it off. If you do it right, when you're done, if you take a short walk, your knees are going to feel very fluffy and new. So it's a good experience. All right, so from here, we're going to go to the hip joint. We're going to start off with something called a pendulum. I'm going to lift up. And the goal is to take the ball head of the femur and move it around inside the socket. Good. And if I leave the other arm dangle, I'm going to get some contralateral movement. I'm going to lift up the other side and do the same thing. Good. Shake it off. Now we're going to face the chair, same side. If I work my right leg, I'm going to use my right hand for balance. Left side, left hand for balance. We're just going to do some side hip circles with our foot in the neutral position. In the other direction. Good. To add variety, I'm going to do hip circles with my toes either out or with my toes in. The goal is to find the foot position that's the most challenging, and then you utilize that foot position until it becomes the easiest. Make the hardest the easiest, and that will provide an opportunity for positive change. Do the same thing on the other side. Now, if you look at my left arm, by moving my right leg, I'm getting reciprocal movement on the opposite side of the contralateral. If I have shoulder issues, this is a great way to open up my shoulder. Shake it off. All right, from here, because of a lot of our clients have low back issues and vestibular issues, we're not going to do anything for the lumbar spine, and we're not going to do hips and pelvis today. We're going to go right up to our thoracic spine. You put your finger in the center of your sternum. Imagine there's a steel rod that goes from your sternum to one specific vertebrae, and we depress our chest, relax our shoulders so that the scapula does not overwhelm the movement, and we just cause those vertebrae to flex. And by doing so, we stimulate the nerves that live around the vertebrae that are neurologically linked to our lungs, our heart, and go up into the back of our head, into our brainstem. All right, shake it off. we'll reassess our range of motion, and compared to where I started, I'm feeling a lot looser. Okay? Now from here, we're going to go right up to our cervical spine, relaxing our shoulders, trying to imagine pulling our spinal column straight up, expanding the discs, expanding the vertebrae. Imagine that there's a string in the center of your head, and that string is pulling your head to the ceiling. You can actually come up on your toes for a second, then relax back on your heels, feeling your neck stretch out. Now with your cervical spine elongated, what we're going to do is keeping our eyes neutral, turn side to side till you feel tension. Don't move into tension. Then back the other way, feel tension, stop before tension. And then each time you go back and forth, you'll notice you'll be able to go further without feeling any tension in your neck, without feeling the muscles in your neck, your traps, your delts. Tighten up. Shake it off. Now we're going to do the same thing. Nice and tall. This time we're going to move our head up and down, up. Stop before tension, never move into pain. Up and down, up, down, up, and down. Shake it off. Now we're going to finish with something called the infinity sign, which is a horizontal figure eight. Again, we're not moving into pain. The goal is pain-free movement. We're going to trace with our nose an imaginary figure eight. So we're going to go, eyes are neutral. You can follow your nose. We don't move into pain. And the other direction. Good, shake it off. From here, we're going to do scapular retraction, also known as camshafts. I'm going to do it from the side just so you can see. The idea is elbows loose, wrist is loose. Bring the shoulder up, back, down, and forward. Up, back, down, forward. Up, back, down, forward. Kind of like an old-fashioned steam locomotive. Chugga, 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 chugga. The idea being we're going to loosen up our scapula and the other direction. Good. If you spend a lot of time during this COVID-19 crisis with your work being done at your desktop, working from home, you're going to feel tension inside your scapula, your upper neck. This might be helpful. All right, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Elbows loose, hand is loose, up, back, down, out. You just kind of make that chugga, 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 choo-choo noise. Just kind of open that up and the other way. Shake it off. All right, now we're going to throw in a simple nerve glide. Nerve glide basically stretches the nerve out and it relieves pain and it helps improve mobility. So the first one we're going to do, our fingers are up, our arm is back and out, our thumb is in, our shoulders down, our head is tall. And what we want to do is take the opposite ear and drop it to the opposite shoulder, hold. And this looks a little silly, but we're going to let this jaw drop. And recover. Whenever we do a nerve glide, we need to trigger. The jaw dropping is the trigger. So it's going to be ear to shoulder, drop your jaw, and recover. Now do the same thing on the other side. Up, out, or rather up, back, out, in. Scapular retraction, head tall, ear to shoulder, and jaw drops.